Hello everyone, my name is Sumit Shukla. I am Senior Technical Marketing Engineer with Anuta Networks. So today I will walk you through an end-to-end flow with service orchestration, active service assurance, and closed loop automation with remediation action. So this slide here explains what we will cover in the demo. So this is the overall use case. First, the workflow will take the pre-checks and the post-checks at the time of service deployment. And once the service is deployed on the nodes, active service assurance will kick in and start multiple probes for service activation tests like ping, TCP, UDP, and DWAP. And if any of the test fails, for example, allocated test bandwidth is not permitted on the device, Atom will generate alerts and can take uh, closed loop remediation actions such as deleting the configured polisher on the interface. So this is our lab topology, which we will use during the demo. Here we have two provider edge nodes connected to CE devices and the test agents. In the lab, the Atom test agent will be used to generate the synthetic traffic for the activation test once the service is deployed on the devices. So as we have limited time, we will use a recorded video with the live narration. So let's begin the video now, and please feel free to interrupt me with any questions in between. So we will first start with the service creation process. Here we have selected the L3 VPN service catalog. All the inputs required to configure the service on PE devices and the testing information are being loaded via a template. So here we can see that not only the service or PE level details, but also the templates for test probes has been filled out. We can see that one of the endpoints, that is our CPE, is connected to gig 0/1 interface, and our test agent is connected to gig 0/3 interface. But both the endpoints are part of the same service. We can also see that the specific test related information is pre-filled as per desired SLAs. So when we trigger service creation in the backend, it triggers the workflow. So here the first major task we perform is running pre-checks. So this includes checking things like VLAN availability, current BGP status, neighbor count, etc. And once the pre-checks are completed, the second major task of service activation is performed. So the service is pre-configured on the PE, and post checks are performed after that. The workflow also checks if a new CPE neighbor has come up. And if post checks are successful, we go ahead with configuring the test probes, else we stop here and perform a rollback. And if we want to look at all action performed by Atom within every single task, we can click on the task button on the top. Let's some task here. In the service creation task, we can see the complete netcon payload sent to both PE devices. We can also see the VRF being performed towards CPE after the service configuration in another task. We can also see one of the validation tasks, which is verifying the change in the interface config on the PE devices. And we have also verified the status of BGP within the VR. So now in this scenario, we place the user task right after post checks, which allows human intervention to give a final go ahead to complete further actions as per the scenario like retry, pre-checks, service creation and post checks, terminate the workflow, or roll back the changes. So here we selected the continue option for service assurance test. So this completes our third major task, and we move on to our fourth major task of service assurance test. So we can verify from the workflow task that the test template has been provisioned on the active service assurance.
Is it fair to call this a pipeline? You guys have just made your own version of a pipeline within the Atom system.
Yeah,
you can say that.
Yeah, so this is the workflow which we built as a out of box, and which includes the pre-checks, post-check, service creation, as well as the active service assurance part. And in case anything required remediation, then this workflow can do the remediation as well. Is this answer your question?
Ethan, yes.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
So let me little bit back to the video.
Sumit, I think we're just about at the end of our time.
So here you can see that active service assurance template has been configured, and once completed, we can go to the active service assurance page within Atom itself. The test template is available here with the name as the service. So currently the test is in progress state. And once completed, we can see the overall and the individual test result. So here you can see that the threshold values were breached, resulting in TCP and TWAM test to fail. So therefore, it failed the overall test. So here you can see that the overall test has been failed. So, and now I will go to the last major task. We will look at the closed loop automation. So here we made an out of band change on the PE device to reduce QoS polisher bandwidth to 25 kbps from the original value of 75 kbps. Now our test agent was asked to run a test of up to 100 kbps from this interface. So in this case, what we will do is we can, as I already explained, we configured the input polisher on the interface, which is 25 kbps, and but in the test probe we are sending 100 kbps of traffic. So we'll see if the alert will generate or not. So in that case, we will rerun the test and see the bandwidth stays around 25 kbps. Because our device is here restricting restricting the bandwidth rate. So now, as per the test template, a service assurance alerts get generated, which is picked up by the Atom closed loop automation engine. So this is the closed loop automation engine, where you can see the block where this workflow is getting the details from the alert itself, and this closed loop automation engine can activate the workflow where it can delete the policy map from the interface. Now let's take a quick look at the alerts, and we can start the remediation action I just described earlier. So to explain this demo, we manually started the workflow which deletes the misconfigured 25 kbps polisher, but this workflow can be executed automatically as well as a part of closed loop automation. So here you can see that we introduced the user, we added the user task that allow us to give the go ahead to delete the policy config. So Atom automatically identify that on the interface 25 kbps input policy is configured. So admin has the authority to delete this policy in a semi-automated way, as well as you can do the full automated way. Yeah. So in summary, we saw how Atom delivers end-to-end automation for complex network services with orchestrated assurance and closed-loop remediation.